Got cold around here. I think it was in the, I don't know, like 10, 11 degrees last night. Anyway, it's 18 degrees out right now. I just went and got some diesel fuel for the heater. I haven't started it yet, but the temperature in the garage is 30. That's not too bad, no heat going. It's, what, 12 degrees warmer in here than it is outside. So anyway, I'm gonna fire this up and get it warmed up in here a little bit. Got to thinking, I hope this hub is cast steel and not cast iron. If it's cast iron, I might have trouble welding it. I'm sure it's cast steel, but I'm going to take a drill bit and drill into it, just see what it looks like. If it's steel, it ought to come out, the flakes from the drill bit ought to be real shiny and kind of hold together good. If it's cast iron, they'll be grayer and break apart. So I'm just going to drill into that. I'm pretty sure that's steel, but if it is cast iron, I'm going to not be able to weld that very good. So let's see what happens here. Man, I don't know. That, let me try a bigger drill bit, maybe. That's pretty shiny. The flakes didn't come out like powder. I had to get a bigger drill bit so I could get bigger flakes, but I'm gonna say that that's steel. Pretty sure. Anyway, we'll weld this up here in a bit, see how it goes. I'm not a professional welder by any means, just a novice, but I've tried to weld cast iron before, like on old hand pumps and stuff. Last time I tried to do it was with a stick welder. Laid down a real nice looking bead of weld, but it was just so brittle it broke off. I know now you're supposed to heat that and then cool it. I've never tried to do it correctly, but even if I was going to try to do it and learn how to weld cast, I wouldn't want to do it on something like this. I would want to practice on something that wasn't quite as, this is going to have a lot of torque on it, you know. Anyway, it looks to me like that's steel, so we'll see what happens here. I just took a grinder to this to clean everything up a little bit, and pretty shiny. That pretty well tells you it's steel, right? Anyway, I think if I lay this flat down on this board, center up this gap the best I can, put a couple tack welds on there, and then we'll try it for true on a spindle here. See what happens. I got 2 tack welds on this. I'm going to take this roll of solder, make me a guide, so we can see how true this pulley's running. Okay, here's where I'm at on the first attempt. It's my guide wire. Not very good. We've got to get it straighter than that. So anyway, let's grind one of these welds off and see if we can straighten it up a little bit. Maybe that is cast iron. I didn't like how them welds broke off there just now. I don't know. Shit, guys, I think I'm dealing with a cast iron hub here. Let me try something. Just laid a bead of weld on that. I'm gonna see if I can break it off with a hammer. That weld's good. I can't knock it off of there. For a minute I thought maybe that was cast iron, but I guess maybe it is steel. My tack welds just weren't very strong. So I'm gonna grind that off and get back to it, I guess. If I can't knock it off with a chisel, I guess that's good. It's really kind of hard to tell between cast iron and cast steel. I thought it was steel, then I started second guessing myself because my tack welds kept breaking. But I laid a pretty good bead down there, and I tried to knock it off with a hammer and chisel and the vise, and I was actually cutting into the weld with a chisel, and it still didn't come off. And then I ended up taking a grinder and cutting that weld back off, and I cut clear through it, and it never fell off. I had to go all the way with it. So I'm back to thinking this is weldable material, but my tack welds just weren't very hot, I guess. But anyway, back to where we started now, I think. See if we can get this centered up a little better. I think we can go with that. See if we can get some decent welds on here now. Got good penetration all the way along that. There's no undercutting. I could watch it burn in good on both sides. So I think that one's welded on there. Hopefully it's still true. It's still looking real good, guys. Can't get much better than that. Just drop this one straight down on there. As long as it's all lined up with the outside here, hell, that ought to be good. So, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and start welding it. All right, guys, I've been working on this tail shaft mount. It only had one bolt in it that was partially tight, and it looked like that. So anyway, I got these holes cleaned out, and I got 2 good bolts in there. I got this all cleaned up where I can weld to it all the way around. I don't know exactly how I'm going to be doing this yet, but I'm going to get everything set in here and leveled up. Alright guys, what I've done, I've welded these 2 pulleys together all the way around the middle, And then I've got the hub welded in on each side. I've cleaned up the transmission mount, put better bolts in it, and I have taken this level, I've leveled all this up to where I've got this pulley setting level, and I've got this pulley setting level, and then I took a straight edge between the two of them to where it touches on all four sides. So that should give us perfect alignment. They're both level, and the front edges are lined up. So what I gotta do now, this plate is right where it needs to be. I'm gonna start welding it on there on both sides. And then up on the transmission mount, we'll get some plates made that'll go right in between this and this, and get that all boxed in good on both sides. And then after we get this in place and secure, and that's all in place and secure, pop the transmission back out of there and just weld everything. Get it all welded completely all the way around and in all the places, top and bottom. And then we'll get our pilot bearing mount made. This won't slide back any further. It's all the way back. I just need something to keep it from walking forward. And I think I could probably take a cut-off wheel and a grinder and just cut a groove around here and put a snap ring there. And I had a few snap rings from the floor jack, but they were just a little bit too small. I couldn't spread them far enough to get over that. So I'm gonna take this one to town with me and just pick up one that's just a little bigger than that, and I think it should work. And then at the same time, I can measure and get some belts here. And after the belts are here, we can start working on the idler pulley. But it should be where it needs to go. I've just got that all propped up, and I just gotta make sure I don't move anything until I get the weld started, you know. Anyway, I think I'm gonna go in for today. I got this piece here all made up. I've got it notched out around a pulley on both sides. I think that'll help keep the belt in place when you push the clutch in, you know. Got it centered up in there where I want it. I need 1/4-inch spacers on this side. I need 1/2-inch spacers on that side. So anyway, I went out to the pipe vise and took some 1/2-inch black pipe, and I've cut my first 1/4-inch spacer. Cutting it with that pipe cutter, I get a nice true cut on them, you know. So that is a true 1/4-inch. I'm going to take a flapper wheel and get these burrs off the end. Make up one more of these and then 2 of the halves. See if I can weld these spacers to that bracket and get some holes drilled in there. I've got this piece made up. I gotta trim off where the red paint's at to get it symmetrical, but that's a piece of the floor jack plate. That was 1.25 inch nipple. I didn't have a good long one. All I had was like an all thread, but that bearing fit real good in there, nice and tight. So that's going to give us a good bearing holder, I think, when that's done. Anyway, keep cutting and grinding here for a while. exactly. Yep, 1/2 inch. So 2 more of those, and we'll drill some holes and then tack weld those, weld them permanent. I think I might weld some nuts on the back too, so that all I gotta do is start the bolts and all this will be, you won't have to hold a wrench on the back, you know. So anyway, 2 more spacers, drill some holes and kind of finish mocking this up, I'm thinking. Hey, how about that? We've got a couple holes. Let's see if we can get our spacers on there. I got my spacers welded in there, nuts welded on the back side of that, and I got 2 bolts in there. And when I did, it pulled this way. That angle iron must be tweaked just a little bit. So anyway, I got a bar clamp on there, and I got it pulled back down to where it goes. Need to get my other 2 holes drilled now that that's in place. See if I can get the spacers and bolts in the other side. I suppose I need to check that and make sure it's still a 1/2 inch. That's exactly a 1/2. That's about 5/8 there. I think that'll pull over though. I'm gonna make them both a 1/2 inch. I think that'll be fine. All right, holes are drilled. 2 more spacers cut. I was just going through my video footage and realized I kind of left you guys hanging on this transmission mount. That's what that's looking like. I would like to have just plated the front of this in. Then I wouldn't be able to get to these bolts very good. Probably what I might do, maybe just kind of plate it in on these corners here on the back and front, you know, and then just call it good, because I'm probably going to need to be able to get wrenches in here if I ever need to. But anyway, that's what that's looking like. That ought to be pretty good and strong, I'm thinking. Anyway, I've been out here all day. I think I'm gonna go in for now and grab me something to eat. But yeah, we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Guys, that's about as far as I got on the Model T build this week, because I think it was about Monday. I ended up started helping my son. He decided to tear out his bathroom, and he just moved in that old house. Oh, I don't know, a month ago maybe. It sat empty for a long time. Old galvanized pipe plugged up. There wasn't just a dribble of water coming out of the bathtub, and the vanity didn't work at all. The room was just all bad shape, needed just redone. We could have got everything working, but it just wasn't. It just needed tore out. So anyway, Monday we went over there and tore the room out, and I'll show you a little bit of video footage of that and show you some pictures, and then maybe in the next video I'll show you how that's looking over there, and then hopefully we'll get more done out here in the garage on the Model T. But anyway, that's where we're at now. Boy, I just love working on old houses with plaster and lath, and everything's crooked and nothing fits, you know. And we don't really care. I don't care if Colton has water or bathes, or really doesn't. But he's got this nice girl that stays with him, and we like her, you know. So anyway, we're doing it for her. Yeah, we love you, Colton. Anyway, I'll show you what that's looking like. Well, what I've been doing last 2 days, this is my son's bathroom. Not a very good looking bathroom. But we stripped this out yesterday morning. It looked a little better before we tore it up, but not much. There was like a cast iron bathtub over here going this way, then a toilet pinched in this corner. Wasn't hardly enough room to set on it. And then there was a little tiny vanity, like right there, well, above where this boxed in area is, where the mirror was, like a little 18-incher. And then there was a doorway here, so you couldn't really lay it out any different than what they had it. He decided he didn't really need that doorway, so we're closing it in, putting a 4-foot shower there, toilet here. We've put new underlayment down, and then we're going to have a 4-foot vanity along here, and then we've started running all new wiring too. We stripped the old stuff out, and it's going to be all new plumbing, because the kitchen sink's also going to get moved to right here. So everything will be right here in this area. So I think by the time we're done, it's going to be all new drains and all new water lines. I think the only thing that'll be left remaining is a cast iron vent that goes out through the roof. We'll probably leave. We got to run a 2-inch vent up here and then get tied back into it. But luckily the attic entrance is right there, and the vent pipe is right next to it. So that's good. And then hopefully by the end of the week, he'll have a working bathroom here. But anyway, that's my project right now. The floor is terribly out of level. I think we got that shower base shimmed up about 1 inch right now in that front corner. And we went under there with a hydraulic jack, and we started trying to lift it up, but it just wasn't moving. And we could hear stuff cracking and popping, but the bubble on the level never got any better. And then we realized it's also low down here at the sill plate. So we were probably trying to lift about 4 joists plus the sill. So anyway, we decided we're just gonna have to set the shower base in mortar and put us a piece of trim there. It's about all we can do. There was a register boot here coming up through the wall. It was rusted out. We're gonna put a register here underneath this window. We've just been shoveling everything out there in the yard. He can pick it up next spring. But anyway, this hole where the register boot was at has been real handy to run all of our new wiring down. So, yeah. I might not even have to patch that. I think maybe the back of the vanity will cover it. I'm hoping. Anyway, that's where we're at with all this. I'm going to go home for today. I'll show you a little bit more of it tomorrow. So anyway, I'm hoping by the end of next week that's kind of getting done over there for the most part, you know. Might be some baseboard and trim to put on and stuff, but at least mostly done, you know. But anyway, that's all I got for this week. Thanks for following along, guys. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all those things. We'll catch you on the next one. Later, Jeremy.